So guys, today in this video I am going to be teaching you how to add zips to your trouser. This particular method is majorly for jeans, but you can use it for your senators, and I am going to tell you what to do while using it for your senator. Just make sure to watch this video to the end. First of all, we are going to sew this side of the flap on the left side of the trouser, and we are not going to sew it inside too much. We're just going to sew it close to the tip so that we'll be able to flip it. And then when we flip it, you see how I flipped it on top of the remaining side that I didn't sew, that is on top of the tip that I was asking you to leave. So now you're going to be sewing it on top. Sewing it on top is so that it will be able to cover the zip, so that it will not be turning easily. Do you get it? So once you're done sewing it like this, also you can see where my thread ran through. You're now going to take your zip and keep your zip, face your zip backwards before you sew it from the right hand side of the zip. I don't know if you get, from the right hand side of the zip, just like I'm doing it. Now we are going to flip it so that we are going to run thread on the flap. So now a lot of people should do 1.5, some people should do 1.25, but I think I used 1.5 for this particular video, so we are using 1.5 here. So before you run your thread, you're going to raise this other right side of the zip tip. Understand me? This part I'm raising up now, so that you're not going to run thread on top of that part, so that you use it for adding the other trouser length. So now I used 1.5. You'll be asking me when I measured 1.5, but then it's instinct 1.5, and I'm sure it's 1.5 because of the flap beneath. That's how I knew it was 1.5. So now once you're done measuring it like this and carving it out, because you should carve it out for accuracy. So once you've carved it out like this, you're now going to run the thread on top to look like this. And why I told you that this particular video can be used in jeans, in fact it's majorly for jeans, is because I am going to be running the thread twice. I'm going to be running it twice, so you're going to be seeing when I'm going to be running the second one. And it's majorly used for jeans though, it is not used for senator material. But then if you want to use it for senator material, once you've done it like this just once, you can leave it. But if it is for jeans, you can go ahead to run it twice, and make sure that your hand is following in order. Do you get it? And if it is for jeans, if you're going to make it 1.5, you should give your hand a little bit space, so that it will get to, like, if you're going to make it 1.5, you should, like, the first thread should be 1.25, then the second one should make it 1.5. Do you get? Now this is the second flap, this is the second side of the flap. Do you see how I place it behind the right side of the zip? And then I'm going to be freeing that part I bent before, so that my zip will not get half. So now I'm going to be sewing it from the edge to the top like this before adding the other side of the trouser. And when I'm adding this other side of the trouser, I'll be folding them out too, so that it will not affect the outcome at the end. Do you understand? Just like I did in this video. Now I folded them out, especially just the tip, just very small. You see I just folded where was weaved, like where I weaved in this trouser. So now after folding it, I'm going to be still running the thread at the tip of the trouser, so it will not affect my measurements, because once you do a lot of this, it's going to affect your measurements. Then before you sew it to the end, make sure you tip it. Make sure you tip it with your scissors, okay, so you will not cross your boundaries. Just make sure you tip it a bit with your scissors. And you see I've already marked my own before tipping it, so make sure to mark your own before tipping it. So now you're going to be running the thread downwards to the part where you tipped it, on top of the zip, to the part where you tipped it. And once you're done running this thread, now you're going to still run thread on top of this part that you weaved. Not really on top, you're going to be folding it a bit so that you can cover it later. You're going to be folding it a bit like I am doing now. Just fold it a bit, especially just a bit. It can just be this part that you weaved, so you just fold it a bit, just very small, and run it downwards. Watch it. I've told you before, this particular method is majorly for jeans. Do you understand? This particular method is majorly for jeans, because what I use here mostly is 2 times running of thread. So after you've done this, you're now going to be covering it, which is the final part, one of the final part. Yeah, it's the final part, sure. You're going to be covering it, and when you're covering it, make sure that the trouser are relaxed. Just try to make sure that it rhyme with each other, like the way I'm carefully doing my own, like I am doing, like do it like I'm carefully doing my own in this video. So, and you should also be careful so that it will get, the two will meet at the same edge. Do you understand? So you're not going to be sewing from the top this time, you're just going to be sewing from the bottom, so that the edge of the trousers are going to meet. So now you're going to be sewing it carefully, still at the edge. Do you get? I've already told you this is this method is for the jeans. If you want to use it for your normal trouser, you don't need to join it this way, you just need to join it, like fold it normally. But then this one is majorly for jeans. So you're going to be sewing it firstly on top like this, very small at the tip, and make sure you're dressing your trouser so it will relax. Then after that, you still sew it again. This is what I said about jean trouser. You're going to be always running 2 threads. So now sewing it again, and just the same gap you give while sewing the flap, while running the double thread of the flap. Is the same gap you're going to be giving. So once you're done, it's supposed to look like this, and make sure you're doing it very neatly. Once you're done, you're supposed to look like this. Just see, this is how to add your zip.